Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome back, guys. We're going to talk about the BMW E60 M5 versus the M5, the F10 engine design. Okay, so let's talk about both these engines. So the E60 M5 has a 5.0 liter V10 engine producing 507 brake horsepower. It has a red line of 8,250 RPM, which is crazy high. Has a very high static compression ratio of 12:1, 4 valves per cylinder, double Vanos system, and it utilizes 10 individual throttle bodies as a fuel injection system. That V10 is called internally in the BMW world the S85. Now, talking about the F10 engine, that car happens to have what they call the S83, which is a 4 valve per cylinder V8 engine of 4.4 liters and produces 552 brake horsepower, up quite a bit actually from the V10 engine. But it's the twin turbos that produce that. It also produces 120 foot-pounds more of torque than the V10 motor that preceded this car. Now the F10, so the S63 engine, actually happens to have direct injection. There's another plus. More accurate fuel metering, certainly increased horsepower, more efficiency with the direct injection, likely more reliability to follow as well. Now the F10 also has 4 valves per cylinder, but instead of redlining at the 8,250 RPM range where the E60 M5 does, this redlines caps out at 7,200 RPM. That, coupled with the fact that it's heavily muffled from the turbos, creates a very tame exhaust note relative to the E60. That itself is a little bit of a disappointment for the die-hard M5 fans. So now that we've taught specifications, what are the Achilles tendon of both of these engines? Well, we know the E60 M5 was actually a very bulletproof engine with the exception of the rod bearings. Now the F10 has its own engine issues. Now the F10's engine issues happen to fall under cam sensing and cam timing. There's been cases where the cam does not move properly to allow for the proper timing and you get a limp mode issue. So there's been cam related issues, timing issues on the F10 engine, whereas the E60 rod bearing is your sole issue. Now what is special about these? Well, in my opinion, so here's where it all kind of boils together and why I believe the E60 M5 or the S85 engine is actually the superior engine, not in terms of reliability per se, but certainly in the sense of design, engine design. Why? Well, the E60 M5 engine happens to be designed by a bunch of F1 drivers and designers that have a passion for the engine, have a passion for racing. And as a result, you had an engine that would redline to 8,250 RPM. As a result, you had an engine that it was more or less a dry sump versus the wet sump system in the F10. Now, for those that don't really know what the sump system difference is, a wet sump is like a standard engine. You have oil in the bottom of the engine. As you turn and corner hard on a track, the oil sloshes to one side, thus creating a starvation issue. And a wet sump engine generally is not as well suited for the racetrack because an engine often will starve of oil. A dry sump engine, often found in almost any race car, also found in Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, anything that has a history of racing technology and racing heritage, all come equipped with dry sump engines. And so that's where the F1 derived V10 engine in the S85 or the E60 M5 comes from. It is truly, well, it's a quasi dry sump, but it's the next best thing to having a true dry sump engine, and that comes in that car. That combined, so you've got the dry sump setup, you've got the stratospheric RPM for redline, you've got the F1 passion, this all created a superior engine. So where do I believe these two engines fit? So what I truly believe is the superior engine is the S85, the V10 motor. Why? Not for its lack of reliability, because that in essence is the case. It's not that largely a reliable engine. But that being said, a lot of the M cars aren't that reliable. The reason I believe the S85 is a superior engine mainly comes down to the passion that was designed and engineered into the car. The F10 engine, the S63 motor, is really more of an engineering masterpiece from a plus and minus from a digital perspective, from a technology perspective. The F10 or the S63 is a superior motor, more or less for daily reliability, overall general usability, technology, of course more power. There's some great things happening in that engine. For example, direct injection, turbocharging always adds a lot of efficiency to a motor. So those are great concepts, but there's no passion there. The F1 motor, it was designed by a bunch of people that love motorsports, truly passionate about the sports, truly passionate about fast cars, performance BMWs, and that's where the F1 Williams team managed to coordinate the design of the S85 engine. That in itself, with the fact that it has an insane red line of 8,250 RPM, it also has a quasi-drive sump system which will allow you much more aggressive cornering, because unlike the F10, the S85 engine will actually turn hard. It has a quasi-dry sump, so the engine doesn't starve of lubrication on a racetrack environment, as the F10 might. And that is a problem, and that's a sign that that car, the F10, is not a car necessarily designed for the racetrack. Fast, yes. Race engine, no. So everyone, that's it. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just want to let you know my belief. The E60 M5 still has one of the best engine designs of all time. It's, in my opinion, a better design, a more passionate design that you would find in the F10. And time will tell with the new F90 what that one's all about. So again, thanks for coming out, everyone. Hope to see you on the next one. See you real soon. Bye-bye. E60 M5 versus the M5